When honestly, if we got a looking glass and got to see into a man's mind, into his heart, there's so many times when men show up confident, but that's really just a pseudo version of confidence.
Sure.
Really, so you're really nervous underneath. You really just you just want to know that you're valuable, that you're worthy, that you're good enough for the moment, that you have what it takes. And men, we've all felt that.
Yeah.
As Aaron was going through this list, I imagine everybody listening to the sound of our voice has at least one or two of those right now in their life.
Sure.
A feeling of anxiety, a feeling of fearfulness, whatever it may be for you. And you've got to stop and allow yourself to understand that, one, it's okay to feel those things, and two, understand that what you do with it is actually in your control.
Sure.
Right? Because Aaron and I believe that we have the ability to control our attitudes. And our attitude, Aaron, is what we do with what we think and how we feel. We can't control our thinking, and we can't control our feelings. But what we can do is what we do with them.
Yeah.
We do have control over that. So if you feel these things, one, I'll tell you it's okay, unless you lash out, right? If you act out in anger, if you act out in isolation, insecurity,
fear. Yeah.
these are the things that'll lead you into your own pit, right? It's your own self-sabotage. If it leads you to the drinking, if it leads you to the porn, if it leads you to whatever it leads you to, one, you're choosing those things.
Yep.
So you've got to take authority over those, and you have to own them. Take your ground back, but also realize that feeling those things is not bad. It's what you do with them.
Yep.
It's what you do with them. And so this is where the what and the why of what's so important behind emotional dependency is allowing another man or another group of men, or allowing your spouse to have your six.
So good. So good. So let's talk about that, because I think this is where we can get very tactical. We've got 4 ways that you can build healthy emotional dependency. And so if you have those signals or symptoms popping up, the fear, the anxiety, the insecurity, you're on an island, emotionally starved. And the way that you fix this, mitigate this, is first to recognize that it's not where you want to be. You're not going to be as effective. You're not going to be as bold. You're not going to be as confident. And you're certainly not going to be unshakable. And so you need to do something. And so this is where guys love it. Okay, what's the step-by-step process?
Yeah.
What's number 1?
Number 1 is you have to have physical and emotional closeness.
That's good.
Now, as I say that, guys are probably making faces going, oh my God, what does that even look like? Physical and emotional closeness. The way that that's done in my house, and I'm talking specifically about my marriage, is every morning my first interaction with my wife, just like this morning, is a 40-second hug. The moment we see each other is a 40-second hug. So that's emotional and physical closeness. What happens, Aaron, in those 40 seconds, research actually lets us know that within 40 seconds, if you go beyond a 40-second hug, you actually have a release of oxytocin and dopamine. What that does to our physical and to our emotional state is it slows our breathing, it increases blood flow throughout our body, our state changes to a place of relaxation. So it has all of these positive implications, bonding, things like that are happening. And choose to start my way that day starts me out in a very, very positive place for everything else I have to take on for the rest of the day. So a 40-second hug is what we start with. An 8-second kiss is the next one. Again, same outcome. Releases dopamine, releases all the good things, oxytocin that we need to connect with. 8-second kiss does not mean it needs to go to sex. It doesn't. So a great thing about that is the great ability to connect emotionally and to be close physically.
That's good.
I tell guys this all the time. If you want to stir up your romantic partner or your wife, go on and drop on her an 8 to 10-second kiss. Do your thing. Don't say a word and walk off like Big Papi.
Let's go.
And do that for 7 days in a row. At some point during the day, just randomly, 8 to 10 seconds, boom, walk off without saying a word, and see if you don't start to see a shift in how she sees you.
Sure. Yeah.
Another item is no leftovers. And so a great way for emotional and physical closeness is we all spend time in the marketplace. We all put our efforts somewhere. And it's very easy for us to come home, whether you work at home or not, at the end of the day, and give whatever you got left over in your battery. I carry a phone, and when my phone's at the very end of its day, it needs to be charged. And so you might be coming home with an 8% battery left. If you give your marriage or your kids or the things that you say is most important to you the last 8% of your battery, guess what you're going to get back? 8%. So regardless of how you feel or how your day has gone, to choose to give no leftovers to your house, to your spouse. It's a game shifter for you if you're willing to give it a try. Then lastly, in my house, we do this thing called pretzeling.
Talk to me about
Pretzeling. So I love touch from my wife. I love quality time. So the way that we end our day every day is we end up the last 30 minutes with our no leftovers commitment. We ended up pretzeling. So as our legs are tangled, we're close to each other. We're just having dialogue about the day, sharing things, whatever it may be. It's unscripted, but it's just a way to be intentional about connecting every single day. And not only does that end our day well, but our mornings start really well because of how we ended our day.
Yeah.
So that's the physical and emotional closeness that we are designed for as men.
I love that. So what if you guys are picking up on this? Josh has an AM routine. He's got an afternoon check-in between that 8-second kiss, and he's got a way to wind down and reconnect. And so it's a beginning, it's a middle, and it's an end of every single day that creates and establishes that healthy emotional and physical closeness. Step one.
Step one. Step two is to confidently reach out. Confidently reach out. So that's sharing with your spouse or sharing with another man without an expectation of return.
That's good.
Right? We can create a transactional relationship. If I'll give you 40% of what's bothering me, but you got to give me 40 back. If you want me to be fully transparent with you, then you've got to be fully transparent with me too. So we have to confidently be able to reach out to another individual without the expectation of them giving back. And all you're doing is you're creating space for that person to show up for you.
Yeah, that's good. We got some great examples of this. So when I think about, securely reaching out and building that relationship communication, it's really isolating the insecurity that can show up, or the fear that can show up when you guys are distant.